In this video, I have a new microphone. In this video, I'm gonna talk about Sonic Mania. If you were one of the cool kids and your parents knew anything about modern technology, they got you a Super Nintendo. If they could not drive a stick shift and they were scared of the answering machine, they purchased the first box they saw in the store just to get done with it and move on to something else. And that's how you ended up with a Sega Genesis. At an age where Nintendo was a word for a console, like Kleenex was a word for tissues, it hurt. Fortunately, late is better than never, and Sega somehow figured out that they should bundle their console with a game that does not involve an undead centurion that transforms into a werewolf to fight a mountain of corpses that rips off its own head. Enter the most 90s of video gaming icons, a hedgehog as representative of his era as pink and teal stripes on the side of dull grey cars. He was more radical than a square root, and his choice of language reflected this for the rest of his life. His glory culminated with the appearance of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 Knuckles, a legendary refinement on the speed and style formula across no less than 14 levels of gorgeous art direction, excluding the Marble Garden Zone, Fight Me in Real Life. You had access to multiple paths, some of them accessible only by Tails or Knuckles. And the whole thing ended up with a multi-stage final boss battle that was assured to make the next game in the series look like a total disappointment in comparison, no matter what. The great majority of us are familiar with the Sonic story afterwards, but just to make sure, here it is. Sega published Sonic games in 3D, and they were absolute shit in ways more creative than the last, turning Sega into the Chrysler of video game companies. There is your story. Meanwhile, people have been begging and pleading for a proper sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The demand was simple, the player base just wanted more of the same and called it a day. Unfortunately, Sega could not hear the player base over the noise of horrible erotic fanfiction of Sonic and thousands of self-insert characters. Sure, there was Sonic 4, which I already described via Sonic 3's definition, and Sonic Generations that felt less like a homage and more like a shut-up-already game, so the player base would calm its tits. Thankfully, some good bloke by the name of Christian Whitehead told everyone to move aside and created what we had been waiting for all along. Sonic Mania is what Sonic 4 should have been from the get-go. Another batch of levels to run through and another set of bosses to destroy. It's not complicated. We Sonic fans eat this shit up like hotcakes. Making a blockbuster was that simple, that easy. The game has 5 modes. Mania, in which you play through the main story or lack thereof. Encore, which is only available in a paid DLC and which introduces 2 new characters. You play through the same levels except that your lives are replaced by a team of up to 5 characters through which you rotate. Each character has only 1 life, and dead characters can be retrieved from extra life boxes. Time Attack, in which you play through any level of your choice as quickly as you can, and with global leaderboards that have already been cheated to hell and back. Competition, which mirrors the Sonic 2 format where the winner is decided through several criteria, and Extra, which contains the infamous Blue Sphere minigame. The story and the premise are both largely ignorable by design and follow the good old formula of chasing an evil ball-shaped man with a giant mustache, the difficulty being that this man is usually protected by a machine loaded with offensive weapons. Fortunately for you, this man has one crucial weakness, and it is that he is not voiced by Jim Cummings. For good measure, you can seek out and retrieve gemstones that give you awesome powers and unlock the true ending. Controls consist of a momentum-based movement and a multifunctional jump button, which can also be used to perform a drop dash in which landing on the ground starts an instant roly-poly, and exists primarily for speedrunners. Go far enough in the game and you will unlock old moves such as the Insta-Shield from Sonic 3 and the Super Peel-Out from Sonic CD, but you can only use one of these 3 special moves in the course of your game session. Level design follows the same formula as previous Genesis-era Sonic games, in which slow sections of technical platforming are separated by quick sections where you can hit a red spring, let go of the controls for about 10 seconds, and enjoy the ride. The gigantic levels of Sonic 3 look even larger in Sonic Mania, and they are so intricate on occasion that you will definitely run out of time exploring them on your first attempt. Speaking of levels, much of the game remixes past levels from previous games. To be precise, 1 level from Sonic 1, 2 from Sonic 2, 2 from Sonic CD, 3 from Sonic 3, and 4 new and genuine Sonic Mania levels. On the remix levels, the first act is a recognizable rough mashup copy of the 2 acts from the original game, and the second act is best expressed as a reviewed and corrected version with new mechanics and enhancements. This includes bosses you might have been familiar with in your childhood, and which are going to throw a few unexpected curveballs, aka bullshit, at you. It's worth noting that the game engine reproduces the original faithfully all the way down to even the bugs and glitches. This is openly in the interest of speedrunners who exploit the engine's particularities to skip large amounts of each level in the hope of setting the quickest completion time. Trust me, it's both entertaining and enlightening to watch. I will say without reservation that I fell right back into childhood upon playing Sonic Mania, to such an extent that I ran through the game within a mere few days. After beating the final boss, I was set to do the run again with Tails and Knuckles, and I spent my entire day at work thinking of nothing but Sonic, 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 and more Sonic. The thrill and the excitement of running and bouncing across great expanses and fighting giant doomsday machines. So I ran back home and played Sonic 3 and Knuckles. When you're a kid on a 16-bit video game console, you have a small handful of games chiefly inspired from coin-op arcades. They are short, they are difficult, and you beat them after countless attempts. Once you have done that, you perfect the formula until you can reliably beat the game every single time, and you practically know each level by heart. I've got a job. I've got worries from the job that eat at me on a daily basis. I've got groceries to do, meals to cook, and a home to keep in shape. I don't have so much free time anymore. I'm tired, and I want to shut my brain off. I don't want to perfect a formula, I don't want to optimize my time or my score, I don't want to master a new take on the mechanics, I just want to shoot fish in a barrel. I want something familiar that I've been playing for years and that I can play while functionally asleep. You could show Sonic Mania to your kids though. You could give them a taste of what it was like to live in your time. A time where it was expected that you would go through a video game dozens of times over, refining your run each and every time, and making it look easy along the way. Back then, story-rich runs and theme park games offering adventure lengths in excess of 40 hours were the exception and not the norm. Most of the time, you did what you could with what you had. Your kids have time to play again and again, and hopefully the first playthrough ignites the spark of addiction. Now you can offer this experience to the wee ones. The difficulty of old games chiefly lies in their inaccessibility and the need to install particular software or emulators, and they never get it completely right. But now for $25, you can download it on Steam or get it for your favorite modern console, easy peasy. Once your little cousins have finished their homework, you can unleash them on Sonic Mania and watch them enjoy and cherish that one piece of your bygone childhood that you have been hiding up your ass from the enemy for so many years. In short, this game is a heirloom.